everybody, this is Beth McCullough. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I blog at stampingmom.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm here every Wednesday at noon Central Time, although I am considering a move to Wednesday evening. Still trying to work that out. But here's what I have for you today. I don't know if you can tell in the picture, but we have some of these popped up, every other one, and some flat. And they're really fun and unique Valentines. All of the paper that I used is from the Heart Suite in the Stampin' Up! Mini catalog. This is a gorgeous suite, and I've made so many different Valentines out of it. But here's all the different paper. So what I did to make these hearts is I used the stitched Be Mine framelits dies. These are in the annual catalog. And I used this biggest die. So I ran it through the Big Shot with white cardstock and then also a variety of the cardstock from my Heart Specialty Designer paper. And then I cut it in strips. And you can see here a couple of these that I cut. And you end up with two pieces when you cut the heart. Let me show you. You get the frame. This piece comes out separately. And then you get a heart in the center. So the first thing I'll do is show you how I cut the hearts. I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And let's see. Here's one of the hearts I cut. I'm going to bring this down so you can see it at the top. And I just took the heart, whichever side, and I lined it up at the 1/2 inch mark. And I held it down here and cut the heart. And then move it up. You're going to cut it 5 times. I move it up. Hello, Kim Baker. Thank you for joining me today. I'm making this very fun Valentine. I'll show it to you again in just a second. Hello, Kathy. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so what I'm doing is taking a heart that I cut out with the Be Mine framelits, and I'm cutting them in 1/2 inch segments. And you're going to cut 5 times. It's pretty easy to do this until you get down to the last one. Oh, my fingernail's in the way. Yep, you have to hold it. You have to hold it as you put the door down. So there I have it. And I'll do one more cut. So you cut 5 times and you get 6 segments. Now this one is just going to have to stay as I shut the door. Yay. Okay, so now I have my heart all cut. I'm going to use these pieces. They're easier. I found it easier to cut a bunch, 3 or 4 of the different designer series papers and line them up. Okay, I'll show you for those of you who missed it. These are the Valentines we're making. Hello, Wendy. I will see you tomorrow, my dear. Can you see how they're layered and every other one is popped up? In real life, they're really cute. I hope you like them. Okay, so then what I did is I ran it through the same framelit with white just to give it a base. I found out it's easier to attach the strips if you attach them all to a white card first. And another tip for you is the second layer. See how it lines up with a V? Let me show you on the white piece. See this little V? It's easiest to put this layer on first. And then I pop these two, they're separate, like this. two separate pieces. I popped those up on dimensionals, and then it's easier to line them up that way. Now for the third layer, I'm going to do Happy Valentine's Day. Where did I get that, you ask? Well, here it is. A Wish for Everything stamp set has Valentine's, it has Day on here somewhere, and it has Happy. So I did a little stamp surgery. Hopefully you don't mind doing that. I just cut off the edges. The Happy Valentine's and the Day were just 3 separate words, and I wanted to put them on a block so I could stamp them together because I thought it was easier to make sure they were straight. So I inked it up in real red ink and stamped the Happy Valentine's Day. But when I did it, I was doing it on one of the strips from the white Valentine. Another thing I found when I made these cards is I didn't think it mattered which of these strips. See, isn't that easy? Can even do it on camera, yay. Okay, so I'll show you on here. This Happy Valentine's Day is on the 3rd segment. This one is on the 4th. I really prefer it on the 3rd, so you do what you want. The fun part of this is after you have all the hearts cut out, you can just be creative and make it however you want it to be. So I'll show you how I did the Happy Valentine's Day. Literally, you're just taking, oh, and look, it's on the other side. So all paper has 2 sides. I didn't get it quite straight the first time. So if you are a perfectionist, you should become a stamper, because then you'll figure out that none of us are perfect and you just do it. Plus, people usually don't realize. They just see how cute it is. They don't see what the mistake is. So I have 4 mini dimensionals here. I would love it if you tell me where you're watching from, and also if you have any questions. It's actually super fun for me to come on here every week, and I love it when people talk to me and let me know what they're thinking. Okay, so the Valentine that we did earlier, I'm going to take one of the hearts from that, and this, again, you just use your snail or your glue. I always use a silicone mat when it's a thin strip. I just don't like to get adhesive on my work surface. So some of you know the room that I stamp in, my stamping studio, was created about 3 years ago. Okay, here's another thing I can show you. On this one, I got it over a little too far. Let me see. Does it say Ellie from Canada? Hello, Ellie. Thank you so much for watching. I got it over a little too far, so I'm just going to take my snips and snip it off. Okay, and then I kind of went in order. So I want the little hearts again down here. So I'm going to do another layer, make sure it's the right one. And I'm going to do this with the dimensionals again. Oh, so I started to tell you my stamping room. The cabinets up here were coming away from the ceiling. It was super cold this weekend. And I've noticed it over time that it was starting to happen, but it was cracking and happening a lot this weekend when it was super cold. So I was afraid that one day my husband would come home and it would be like the Wicked Witch of the West. He would find me dead under a pile of cabinets and paper that had fallen from the ceiling. So obviously that's not what we're looking for. So I called the contractor who did it, and he is such a good contractor and so sweet. Now on this one of my layers must have been a little thicker, which is why I'm having to trim it off all the way down now. And let's see, for the last piece, I'm going to take this piece of stripes again. But anyway, he came over, we called him this weekend, he came over Monday, fixed it Tuesday. So I have 2 classes tomorrow in my studio, and I had to remove all the paper and all the stamp sets and everything. But they got it done in one afternoon. And my sweet husband came home last night and painted the part where they reinforced it. And I was putting it back together this morning. There's kind of drywall dust all over the studio. Okay, so that one I didn't have to trim. What do you think? I think it's super cute. So as you make cards, they kind of evolve. So when I first did these, I just embossed the front flap. And I embossed it with the Scrappy 3D. Now when you go to use this embossing folder, make sure your words go the right way. I mean, you want them going like this across the card. Well, the first time I did it, I had them going down the card, which is kind of funny. So be careful of that. But what I decided for this one is I cut my cardstock at 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored at 5 1/2. And then I cut another piece, a layer. I usually do 1/4 inch layers. And so this is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and this is what I ran through the embossing folder. So I am going to take my heart and I'm going to put it where I want it. I don't want it exactly in the center from up to down. I want it a little bit higher. And then I have many of these frames, so I'm trying to decide which one. What do you think of that? That might be too many hearts. What about the stripes? I haven't done that. Do you like the stripes? So again, I'm going to bring in the silicone mat. And hate to cover up these little hearts too. All this designer paper is so pretty. So if you're using one side, you're covering up the other, but that's how it goes. So I'm going to put the heart where I want it. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And then I'm going to put the outside heart around it. What's Kathy say? The more layers shows how much you care for the person you're giving the card to. Kathy, I am going to remember that. When I give Kathy a card, it's going to have lots of layers. Because Kathy is super sweet and she deserves a card with lots of layers. So, how did you like your paper share, Kathy? I hope you loved it. What do you think? This is kind of a crazy heart compared to this one. So I'm not sure what I think about the stripes on that. You know what I might do? I'm going to pull it off. Crafters also get to change their mind, right? I'm going to go with simple, possibly boring, but a white layer to really set off all those pretty papers. So the good news is if you use snail, you can change your mind. If you use dimensionals or the green glue, you probably can't change your mind. Yay, Kathy loves her paper share. Mine are all gone, but if you ever want paper shares in future catalogs, I cut up all the pretty paper and then give you extra freebies and ship it out all over the United States. So I would love to make one for you if you would like one. Okay, so for this layer, just to keep it on, I am going to use the glue. So I think I mentioned I have 2 card classes tomorrow. So the vacuum is sitting out right here. There was dust all over every stamp set, and I have a few. So anyway, I have a lot more dusting and vacuuming to do and still some cutting for the class tomorrow. So I'm going to put this layer on here. But luckily my parents, the puppies and I went and visited my parents yesterday, so we don't have to do that today. Hi Pam, I'm glad you're watching. And yes, Pam, I am I do have your paper share. So there's a couple that haven't picked them up yet. And Wendy, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. So what do you think of the card? Then inside the card, this is just a layer of 5 1/4 by 4 white. And I cut a strip of a different designer series paper out of this same assembly of cards and just attached it to the bottom. And I'm going to use glue on this as well. I like to either stamp something inside or decorate it with paper. But since I have Happy Valentine's Day on the outside, I wasn't sure what to put inside. For a Try Guy and my kids, I would put Love You Lots or something inside. But I'm not sure who's getting this one, so I have to wait and see. So it would also be cute to decorate the envelope. So now I have 4 of them. So do you agree it looks better with the Valentine up on this layer rather than down a spot? And then what color do you like better? Do you like the red one or the Flirty Flamingo? Kim says, what a super fun idea. Oh, you are so sweet, Kim. I really appreciate it. So this is what I have for you today. I have some other fun Valentines that I'm getting ready, and I can't wait to show you those. Thank you so much for joining me. It means the world to me, and I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day. See you soon. Hey, if you're watching on replay, let me know where you're watching from, and can't wait to see you next week. Bye-bye.